how's it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome to another TV show review. Now, before I go any further, if you're wondering why I'm in my work uniform right now, it's because I'm literally on the verge of going into work after this review is recorded. So it may be later in the day when you get this video, but for now I'm going to talk about what I'm here to talk about, and if you can tell by the title of the video, this is my review of the live-action adaptation for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yep, I'm talking about the TV show version of it in live action, not the one that came out over a decade ago that we shall not speak of here. But when it comes to the TV adaptation version of it, this is similar to what we saw with One Piece, which I reviewed a couple of months ago. This is an 8-episode series where almost every episode was over 50 minutes long, pretty much. And it tells the story of Book 1 of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, the animated version, where we see Aang after 100 years since the Fire Nation took over. Y'all know the story pretty much, but I'm still going to do a little review of it. So pretty much the Fire Nation attacked the Southern Air Temple after he realized he was the Avatar and he didn't want the responsibility, so he ran off. But in doing so, he wasn't there to protect his people, and unfortunately, thanks to Sozin's comet, Fire Lord Sozin wiped out all the air nomads and most of the air temples, not realizing that the Avatar eluded him. And so he spent the next 100 years not only trying to track down the Avatar, but he also was conquering the world with his son Fire Lord Azulon, and then his two sons, Fire Lord Ozai and General Iroh. Now, and then we get to the main villain from the Fire Nation that goes up against Aang through most of the show, which was Zuko. Now, if y'all all remember in the original, he was voiced by the iconic Dante Basco. And Dante Basco was a great voice actor. He really did Zuko well. But I will say, I forgot the name of the guy who was playing him in this show, but I gotta tell you, he's just as good as Dante Basco was when it came to playing Zuko, especially in the first book. So I'm curious to see how he evolves throughout book 2 and book 3 if they're able to adapt it. But in regards to the other characters, now Katara, definitely a decent casting. The kid playing Aang, which I'm so glad they actually pronounce his name correctly in this show versus what they did in the movie that came out over a decade ago. Again, his name is Aang, not Ong, which is what they did in the original movie. But now the only casting that I think most people were a little upset about, because there was some controversy surrounding it, was the character of Sokka. I believe the guy's name is Ian Owsley. Apparently he didn't tell the truth about his ancestry and how he was supposed to be playing a water tribe person, just like the girl playing Katara was. But aside from that, I don't care. He did okay. I know they did take out some of his comedic moments from the original, like when he got upset about being beat by a bunch of girls. That is the Kyoshi Warriors. We saw that. There were a few episodes, storylines that were cut from this show, like the Great Divide. It's a good thing they didn't even feature that, because that was really a pathetic story in the original. They also sort of took out other elements like the fortune teller, and revealing to Aang, or to Katara, I should say, that she may have feelings for Aang. Hopefully we'll get to see a little bit more of that in book 2 if they adapt it, but aside from that, things were just going so well for this show. I mean, honestly, they really did this story well. And now I will say there is one thing that I cannot believe they actually still kept this character in, even though he was barely featured in the original, but he had a huge impact in the comedic relief. aside from Sokka, and that was the iconic cabbage merchant when he says that iconic line, "No, my cabbages!" Yeah, they did that. He said the thing twice in the episode that he was featured in, which I thought was hilarious. We did get to see other characters that were completely cut from the movie. Like we saw Jet featured, and his freedom fighters. Surprised they were able to squeeze him and his freedom fighters in here. They did leave out one character, though, that I'm a little annoyed about, and that was the character of Haru, who, during the original series, the episode where Zhao gets named Admiral instead of Commander, was also the same episode where Katara, Sokka, and Aang meet Haru, who was an earthbender who was taught to hide his bending, and he gets sent to a prison for helping someone, and then Katara goes there and helps them find their courage. Now, to be fair, they did feature that scene somewhat in the movie adaptation, but the way they handled the bending and the fight sequences was not as great as I thought it would be. And that's another thing I want to talk about when it comes to this movie, or this show, is the bending was way better, especially for the earthbenders. Because you think about the way they handled the earthbending in the movie. We saw that scene where all the villagers were fighting, and you see a bunch of people in like a group doing these random moves, and then once they do like this finishing move, you only see one rock go by, which I thought was pathetic. Now in this show, however, the earthbending was way, way better. Especially with King Boomy too, which I forgot, he's another character they cut from the movie, which I thought was pointless. There were so many characters that they cut from the first movie that were in the original season. Now, one thing they did add, however, in this show, which I thought was interesting, was having Azula have much more of an important role in this show. And not just her two friends May and Ty Lee were featured. I didn't think they were going to show up, but I do like how they were portrayed, and I can't wait to see them again. Now, I am very curious who they're going to get to play Toph Beifong in Season 2, if they're able to do it. Because, again, this is the second time they tried to do a live-action adaptation, but they can never get past the first book. So, I'm really excited to see if they will hopefully be able to do Season 2, even though the actors are sort of getting up there in age. But we'll see what happens. So, for now, let me give you my rating of the show. So, for my rating of Avatar, the Last Airbender, the TV show version, that is, not the movie version. The TV show adaptation, again, is a much more faithful adaptation than the movie ever will be. I don't know why they even hired M. Night Shyamalan to begin with when it came to the movie. Now, I know the original creators were part of this show, but then they left because of creative differences. I still thought the show was entertainable. It really got me immersed into the world of Avatar in live action form. Even though there were some things I was not too happy about with some of these characters, or the way they did certain elements in the show, I still thought it was way more entertainable than the movie was. So I'm going to give Avatar The Last Airbender a solid 4 out of 5. Yep, 4 out of 5. It's definitely not as good as One Piece when I saw that show last year. I think I gave that 4.5. But with this one is a 4. I still thought it was really good, and I can't wait to see them continue if they are able to. So anyways, that's all for now in this TV show review. Next time you see me, I'll probably be posting my review of Ordinary Angels, which I'm going to see maybe when I get off work today as of this video. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, I will see all of you guys in the next video.